still have tears in my eyes, but I'm gonna complete. I did not know that I was still hurt by that whole situation. So I packed up my stuff and I went downstairs, I went outside, and this time he did not, oh, let me read this. This time he didn't, did he walk me out? He didn't walk me out. Because I told him not to help me with anything, and you know, I'd be fine. I didn't care. It was in the middle of the night. I was in the hood, in the middle of the hood, but I didn't care at this point because I just did not want to be around him. And God was already showing me, you know, that this person wasn't for me and I shouldn't have been there in the first place. So, you know, I put myself in that situation. So I went outside, and when I was outside, I just broke down and I fell on the sidewalk with my stuff. And I just was crying. There was people walking past me. So embarrassing. I'm trying to get it all out because I don't want anybody to have to go through this. So while I was sitting out there, I realized that I had left some stuff in his car, so I had to call him. So I called him and I was like, you know, I left something in your trunk or whatever. Surprisingly, he answered. I got the stuff from my trunk, from his trunk, and I put it in my car. And he still was like, you know, being distant with me. And I was asking him, and I was just like, again, kind of like chasing a little bit, like, well, if I get this together, will we be able to work on this or whatever? And he's like, well, maybe if you do that, whatever. So I was putting myself in a vulnerable position, and then sitting there thinking like, well, dang, well, what was wrong with me? Was I not enough for him to stick around? So I went home, told my mother what happened. I think that I've been through so much, but that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, because I feel like I just wasn't the same after that. So I had lost weight because I wasn't eating. I just was really hurt. And I realized that, do you hear my neighbor upstairs? Why is he so loud? Just interrupting. Anyway, so I wouldn't eat. And that's the way I kind of like control my feelings. Like if I'm stressed too much, I don't eat, I don't drink anything, which is really bad. Or I overeat to the point where I've gone to the point where my stomach would be so tight because I had so much, especially when I was like smaller. But I would overeat just to ignore the pain that I was feeling, or I just wouldn't eat at all because I wanted to numb it. I'm gonna get myself together. So the moral of the story is, and the crazy part is that, you know, I still was trying to at least like be his friend and talk to him and all this other stuff. And, you know, I had told him that he had broken my heart, and he was like, I didn't do that. He was just so nonchalant with everything. He just didn't want anything to do with me, and that really hurt me because I just really thought that we were on a different page and on a different path. Months went by. I reached out to him again and asked him if we can work on being friends. And I should have known then, because he wanted to be like, what did he call it? He said sex friends. And I'm like, no, I really, because we didn't get to know each other. Like, I really want to get to know you. So he was we spoke, but, you know, again, God was kind of like showing me like, this is only because he doesn't have anybody else around. He's still kind of like playing with your emotions or whatever. So, we would hang out and maybe a little bit, but it was also still just me. He probably like reached out to me once and asked me how I was doing, and then, you know, I went over there, and our birthdays were in the same month, so I had brought over a pizza with little candles in it. I thought it was cute or whatever, but again, me, that's just me. So after a while, he had moved from New Jersey, and he was telling me he was gonna move to Philly, you know, to be closer to his family and stuff like that. And so he had moved. I bought him like a going away gift. He moved, and like a couple days later, I texted him and I was like, hey, how was the move? And he blocked me. Now, mind you, I'm just like, well, why did you block me? Like, I didn't, like, why? I don't understand it. So again, I had a little mini breakdown. I'm at a track meet coaching my kids. As my kid is running down the runway, I have tears coming out of my eyes. I'm just like, well, dang, again, like, how am I, like, what did I do this time? Like, we can't even be friends. So, I had reached out to his his brother the first time, like when we had our own whole little thing. I was asking him how he was doing, whatever. He never responded to me or whatever, so that was embarrassing again. And then now he blocked me, and I'm just like, okay, what did I do now? Like, I wasn't even trying to be with you like that. So what happened? So he's in Philly or whatever, and I don't know what I was doing, but one night I'm cruising through Facebook. Don't ever do this. Don't go back and see what your ex is doing. For your own sake, just block, move on. He blocked me. I don't understand why I was trying to look. So anyways, he had a new girlfriend. Her picture was all on his Facebook, on you know, the little back wall thing, and I'm like, well, dang, I ain't never even got no shout out. Then realized he had another child by this woman, and I'm like, oh, so that's why he blocked me, because he moved to Philly and this girl moved in. So apparently he was I'll skip the part. So a year later, a whole year later, he just hit me up out of the blue, and I'm just like, well, why is he hitting me up? They always come back. That's another story. So he hit me up out of the blue. I was like, hey, how you doing? You know, I was near, you know, where you live now, whatever. And we were talking a little bit or whatever, and I was just like, in my head, I'm like, well, what is he, you know, I got excited because I'm like, well, maybe, you know, this is, now he sees that I'm a great woman and blah, 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 blah. I don't want to call myself dumb, but I just was like, you know, in fairy tale land, because I don't want to call myself dumb, and you're not dumb either. This just happens, okay? So an older lady that I work with, she told me to ask him, like, you know, why did you hit me up out of the blue? Like, what is this all about? Because again, I don't want any blurry lines. I'm not 20 years old anymore, like, and trying to figure stuff out. I'm older, like, I'm close to 40, so don't play with my emotions. So I asked him one day, texted him, because he had texted me that day, and he was like, I was like, yeah, so what made you hit me up out of the blue? I just, you know, just wondering, because you just kind of like disappeared, you blocked me or whatever. And again, he went silent, radio silence. And so I'm like, and at this time, again, I was already going through my own transition and my own stuff. And for him, you know, he did it again, he disappeared. And I didn't know about the other girl yet, because I think that he was in transition, but he was trying to rekindle something with me while he was talking to her. So then that's when I found out a couple months later that this girl, that's his girlfriend, they lived together, they had a baby, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, so I cried again. So I'm just like, well, dang, what, you know, you go through this thing where it's like, well, you look at her and then you look at yourself and like, well, she was pretty. She was a very pretty girl. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was just like, but I was like, well, what's wrong with me? I'm pretty too, right? I got a lot of stuff going on, but it made me second guess myself and doubt. So just block. And that's what I do. It is not to hurt anybody else's feelings. I just need to be at peace with myself because I don't want to go back and see whatever you're doing, or, you know, I just don't want to see it because it's going to hurt me and I need my peace. So, then 2018, 2017, something like that. I think that was 2000. So 2016 we dated. Then he reappeared in 2017, a year later, summer later. Then going into 2019, he hits me up on Facebook because I had unblocked him because I was good. You know, I was like, well, I'm not, you know, I know what's going on over there, so I'm not going to look at that. And, you know, I was just in a good place. So homeboy comes back again, the third time. We're talking. I was already, and that's another story. Woo. I don't even know. That might need to go in the book, the third story. But so we go back. We're talking back and forth again, and I ask him, I'm like, yo, what are your intentions? Like, what do you want? And he was like, well, I want this to go deeper or whatever. You know, I feel like we didn't, he said he felt like we didn't go into, you know, it didn't go as deep as it should have before. So I was like, all right, cool. Now we're on the same page. Long story short, at first I prayed about it. I was like, Lord, I don't care what you say. I want this man. This is my man. I want this man because I hadn't already went through all this stuff with him. So I want this, you know, this my man. Then I don't know what happened. I think there was like some type of sermon that we had, and oh Lord, I done messed up my wall, y'all. there was some type of sermon that we had, and I prayed after the service, and I was like, you know what? I want whatever you want, God. And anytime I've prayed this, you know, people have shown their true colors. I mean, he did it in the past because I prayed before he started acting like that before. And this time, there was nothing. Like, I thought the man died. He just totally disappeared. And again, I reached out to his brother. He didn't say anything to me. So again, I was so embarrassed again. I'm like, I put myself in this situation again. Like, what is wrong with me that you don't feel like you can at least talk to me and tell me that you don't want me there or something, but just to leave somebody on read or just go ghost, whatever they call it or whatever, that's not cool. Like, if you don't want somebody to do that to your child, your daughter, your son or whatever, don't do that to me. And don't do that to another woman. I got so much glass, like fog from my crying or whatever. So I wrote some notes down as the other video was posting. One thing I wanted to say, like, know your worth. This is exactly why I stopped. I had to stop dating. I had to, because I was recently just talking to someone and I started noticing some familiar signs and I ignored it. And now we don't speak, and I was hurt again, and I can't go through that again. My heart cannot go through. It's literally like having mini heart attacks every single time, especially when the person pursued you, they told you they loved you, and then all of a sudden, I don't want you around. They just disappear, whatever. So I would say, know your worth, because I knew something was off, and I should have just parted. Know your worth. So now I've gone back because I blocked the person that I was telling you about, the guy that I dated, and then I unblocked because I was okay. But I don't want him to have a fourth opportunity to come back and totally obliterate my heart, because I still care. And I said to him in the last text thread that I sent him, I'm like, you shouldn't do something like that to somebody. You know I love you. Like, you keep playing with my heart. That's not cool at all. So I don't know if something was going on in his life and he didn't want to, I don't know. But I'm not trying to be nobody else's shrink, because I need to be whole for what I need to do. Another thing, know your power and know that you have the strength to walk away. Even if you do have kids, I don't have any kids. So I know that that's a different factor, but if you have kids, just know that you have the power and the strength to walk away, especially if you have a good support system. Do not chase. This is something that I've had to learn because I'm aggressive. I was an athlete. I still, like, I can go back into the weight room and and just be aggressive. Like, I can just pick up a weight. I've always been like that. So, you have to let the man be the man. If he's not pursuing you, don't pursue him. Don't do it. Another thing, stop waiting for them to get it together or for them to realize that you are a great woman. You know you're a great woman. You already know that. And that's his fault that he didn't realize that. And that's totally fine. And it's okay for you to walk away. If you need to cry, if you need to sit up in your room but don't go past. So my pastor has this shirt, you got 48 hours max. I wish I had one. I really wanted to get one, but I've been working on my finances and doing better, putting towards my business and all that other stuff. But it basically says you got 48 hours to cry over this person. And after that, you need to get back to work. So you got to get back to work. You know what I'm saying? Over this person. I've spent too many tears, and it seems like even though I've dated other people, it's the same person or characteristics in, that's another video. So stop waiting for them to get it together. Walk away. Do what you need to do and just walk away. And it's totally okay. Do not let them back in unless God says so. To me, again, I let my flesh talk, my eggs talk. I want to have kids and all this other stuff. I want to have family. Or maybe I just wanted to have a big wedding. But now, I turn 40 next year. Not even next year. Let me see. What's in like 7 months. And now my mind is on, I know we got Rona. I probably won't have a big party or anything like that. But maybe have a photo shoot, something. And, I've never really, this is sad to say, but I've never thought about me spending my 40th on my own or not being married or having the big wedding. Now I'm like, well, what am I wear? What can I make for myself? I could do this photo shoot. I could do this. But it is a process because this is a long time coming. Like I said, I'm 40 years old. I've been dating since I was like 17 or something. Well, probably before that. But that's not dating, is it? It don't count in middle school, does it? Well, we're not gonna count that. But don't let that person back in. I've learned the hard way letting several people back in, and they came in and they made a even bigger mess than they did the first time. And then not with themselves, because they came and got what they wanted, and now they're like, oh yeah, I remember why I don't want to be with her, or they had their own reasons or whatever, and that's cool. But no, this is the reason why I'm not dating at the time right now. And I'm taking this time, maybe between 3 and 5 years. I never thought I would say this, but if I would have done this in the beginning, I probably would be married right now. I probably missed my husband. God was probably like, look, she's not paying attention, so you need to go over there, okay? Boaz or whoever you is. So there was a period where I even took off my my purity ring because I'm like, well, I'm not being pure, so why I need to wear it? So I was convicted, how can I say it? I didn't even feel like I was good enough to wear my purity ring because I was doing anything that I wanted to do to please this person and not please God. That's good. Message. But now I put it back on and I'm abstinent. And if God calls me to celibacy, Lord help me. But if that's what it is, that's what it is. But I can't waste another second not doing what my purpose is. And you can't wait, especially now with everything going on. We do not know what tomorrow brings. We don't know what the next minute brings. So don't waste your time thinking about that person that is not thinking about you. Don't waste your time scrolling through and looking to see what they're doing. Just block them. not to hurt them, not to be petty, but to start your healing process. You do not want to go back to what broke you in the first place. And I guess that's it. After I had my mini breakdown, I never thought that I would do that on camera. I've seen people do that, but I know this is part of my purpose, and God told me to start this series, Chat and Sew, yeah, it was something like that, Chat and Sew series, and so I'm starting it. So I hope that this has blessed some of you. I even received a message last night from a young lady that I went to college with, and she said that I encouraged her by going live on Facebook, and because I haven't been showing my body because I have gained so much weight after running track. But this is me. This is me. This is what I look like now, and I don't care. I care to be healthy, but I don't care what anybody else thinks about me. And I'm on the road to healing, and I just pray that you are too. So I'll chat and sew with you next time. Hopefully I don't have a mini breakdown and stop sewing when I know I need to keep sewing. All right, now have a good night, day, whatever. Bye.